Hi, my name is Chris. I'm from first year Props and Effects, and this is the Sculpture Project. The Sculpture Project is a project where we research a story from a certain culture. For instance, I've done the Dolteki, which is a Korean myth, a South Korean myth, where it's believed that if you look at the moon, there's a rough shape of a rabbit pounding rice cakes up on there. Each of us have basically picked a story, and we've researched everything we can behind it, and then created a representation of the sculpture. One of the first sculptures we have was made by Ezra Raj Steppings. It's a depiction of the Nyan beast from Chinese folklore. We've got Hercules from Greek mythology, made by Nat Lawson. We've got the Kappa from Japanese folklore, made by Millie Rolson. And we've got the Puka from Celtic folklore by Hayley McGregor. As a part of the sculpture project, there was a big push for sort of digital integration. We did classes on physical sculpting, and then we took scans of those sculpts and put them into 3D sculpting programs. And then we took those 3D models and we were able to slice them up and make bits and pieces into 3D printable parts, which we incorporated with more traditional techniques. So we've done things like 3D printing heads and hands and detail parts. And then for larger areas that would get covered with material, we'd use traditional techniques like sculpting with polystyrene, which would then fill in a lot of the larger areas, which would be too time-consuming to do 3D printing with. In the early stages of the project, basically what we would do is we'd pitch our sort of story from the culture we researched, and once we got the go-ahead with that, we'd sort of sketch up designs, and then we had a tutor who came in, and they taught us with sculpting. So we'd take some clay, and we'd sort of sculpt a rough mock-up. It could honestly be just very, very rough. Mine wasn't even remotely close to the final one I had. And we took those sort of rough mock-ups and we 3D scanned them. We had a teacher come in and they specialized in 3D sculpting. And so what they would do is they took the 3D scans of the clay mock-ups we made and touch them up, make them finalized, and the final mock-up for the actual design. And then we'd be able to print those into miniature scale, because when you sculpt digitally, you can adjust the scale to any size. That's how we were able to make smaller mock-ups that were like 1 to 5 of the final version.